Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is our Chan class for the Asia schedule. It's nice to see you again. We've been away for a few weeks, and I'm glad that we're back together. I hope you've been well. And this is the beginning of the New Year of Dharma propagation, Lunar New Year Dharma propagation. So I'm kind of lost as to what to talk to you about. And first of all, in general, I want to report to you I'm very pleased. In the last Chanchi, it's a shorter Chanchi than before, but people still came and a lot of people still kept up with it. And most importantly, many people improved as usual. It's a standard that we set that's rather difficult to keep up, and yet you are undaunted. Many of you are undaunted, took the time to come to the temple. Many of you stick with us online, and but many people who came here, I noticed they improved as well. So it makes me very happy. In terms of this is the 20th year of our Dharma propagation. So we trying to do more and more for you so that everyone gets more benefits out of it. In particular, let me explain to you the process of Chan practice. Chan practice is if you happen to tune in later in this evening's lecture, which I took a glance already this afternoon, Master YongHua explains about the Chan practice, and one of the things he brought out that I did not realize when I was practicing my own, because he was gone and then he left he claimed that his disciples can teach us, can give us training, and us meaning the both new left home people and lay people. And so I was confident, I stuck around, and but I didn't realize that the teaching that I received from these people, his disciples, are quite fall quite short of his teachings. And so luckily for me, I read a lot of his teachings, and that's how I found out that I disagreed with a lot of his students' teachings. I felt that they didn't quite understand his Chan at all. Even when I was there at the early days, I somehow knew that they felt quite off, and yet most of them believed that they understand Chan, the Wei-Yang Chan. I feel that they don't. To this day, I don't think they really understand Chan at all. But so. And so I looked out because I heard bits and pieces of his teachings, whether it's Chan, whether it's Pure Land, whether it's mantras or teachings or Vinaya and so forth, the 5 major schools of Chinese Mahayana. I picked up bits and pieces here and there, and I realized that it was extremely helpful, very, very helpful. It helped me stir me, they stir me, and they put me in the right direction, and develop the faith in the Dharma. The teacher may be gone, but the Dharma is still around. The disciples may not understand the Dharma, but the tapes he left, the translation works that he left behind, actually are very, very instrumental in my training. And so even without a teacher, I've put my faith in his teachings. So this is very important for you as well. Part of the Chan teaching is to follow and put your faith in the proper instructions. Okay? And I lucked out because I found a great teacher, a Chan teacher in Master YongHua, who really understood Chan. And much more so than many other Chan patriarchs. Okay? Of course, he is no match for Great Master Bodhidharma. He's no match for the sixth patriarch because they are Buddhas already. Master YongHua is not a Buddha. He's quite close to being a Buddha, but he's still needs a lot more time to hone his skills and expand his wisdom before he reaches the Buddha's level. But however, his Chan skills are pretty advanced. Some of his Chan skills I disagree. In particular, when he teaches about the Hua Tou, I disagree a lot. I don't think it's a proper way to teach Hua Tou at all. I don't think he practiced Hua Tou himself. I myself never practiced Hua Tou. I practiced for a few months, maybe 6 months, and I gave up because I got nowhere from his own teachings, from Master YongHua's instructions. But later, I encountered a Bodhisattva who became enlightened through the Hua Tou, and he explained to me what he had to go through the Hua Tou. Now, his explanation was very good. It covers about 75% of what needs to happen when you practice Hua Tou. The 25% that he's not clear is because he really, through the Hua Tou practice, he did not reach a pretty high level of Hua Tou. That's why he didn't quite master how to teach Hua Tou. You need to get to a high level, much higher than, for example, Master Xu Yun. Master Xu Yun was known, as most of you know, Master Xu Yun was a greatly respected Hua Tou teacher. He is a patriarch of all the 5 schools in Chinese Chan. And yet, because of his level, he was about 8th ground Bodhisattva, from what I could tell. Now, even at that level, he didn't quite understand how to teach Hua Tou himself. Okay, so anyway, I later, as I said, I saw how this particular Bodhisattva became enlightened through the Hua Tou, and he shared with me his process, his journey, and basically he said, please teach me, what did you do? What were your struggles for the Hua Tou? And he explained to me, and looking back, he didn't really, there's some delicate parts of the Hua Tou that he could not explain, he couldn't understand, because his attainment through Hua Tou was too low, okay? Anyway, so that's why I feel that when I compare the process of Hua Tou, what it takes to practice Hua Tou versus Master YongHua's Hua Tou teachings, I feel that I would not teach Hua Tou the way Master YongHua did. And that's why personally, when I learn about Hua Tou, because like most of everyone who started out practicing Chan, we're told that Hua Tou is one of the most powerful Chan Dharma doors in Chinese Chan. And so we all are greedy, and we all wanted to try the Hua Tou. And I did too. And I followed Master YongHua's Hua Tou instructions. As I said, I got nowhere. because his Hoa Thou instructions are incorrect. From my perspective, I would not teach Hoa Thou that way at all. Okay, it's too confusing. It's not how you explain how. That's not how you instruct people to practice Hoa Thou. Okay, and I went through a lot more after I practiced my Chan, and then I started teaching. I had a chance to revisit Master Hsuan Hua's Hoa Thou teachings in various parts of his instructions, whether it's sutra lectures, whether it's Chan lectures, and so forth. I came to that conclusion that if you want to learn Hoa Thou, want to practice Hoa Thou, ignore his instructions. Okay? This is why I'm here, because if I were to talk to you at his temples, I would be categorized as ungrateful and heretical, because it's a heresy for me to disagree with him at his temples. He has a lot of disciples who are extremely loyal and devoted to him. Okay, but this is our temples, and therefore I'm free to speak as I please. It's up to you to decide what's good for you. Any questions and comments? Okay, so again, you should listen, if you have a chance, listen to Master Hsuan Hua Chan instructions. The foundation of his Chan instructions are extremely, extremely important. I highly recommend listening to his Chan instructions. The raw form, meaning the one I learned from the raw collections, unedited. The Chan handbook that's recently published, I feel that it's no good. I was polite when 10 years ago when I first started and imitated Master Hsuan Hua's teachings, style of teaching. The Chan handbook came out, and I was polite. I said I knew there was a collection. I felt there was a collection from the second patriarch. And so I was polite, because I deferring to him. It's my job to defer to him. But over the years, since many of you have surpassed even Master Hsuan Hua disciples' levels, I need to be truthful to you. And I can no longer afford for you to waste time reading the Chan handbook. Okay? Ignore that. That's no good. It doesn't lack the fundamentals of Chan. Okay, and that's why stick to the. If you can, just listen to Master Hsuan Hua's explanation, preferably in Chinese if you're Chinese. If not, listen to the good translations of his. Of the sutra lectures. That's why I learned primarily. Okay, I read a lot of his translations. In English, they're very, very good. Good enough for you to understand more and get the proper foundation, the proper guidance for Mahayana practices. When you get higher level, that's when you're going to have problems with the translation. All right, and let's see. So English translation is pretty good. I feel that hopefully so far, because of the level of my Sunim's disciples who've been practicing here and who express strong interest and spend a lot of time translating for you, it gets better and better. They really have the ability to understand more, but I hope that they will continue to improve so that the translation becomes more accurate. Okay, the nature translation from Chinese or English into various languages, whether it's Vietnamese, whether it's Korean, whether it's Spanish, and so forth, it goes through the filter of the translator. So if the translator level is not high enough, you will have a lot of distortions. And that's why, for example, Master Hsuan-Hua's disciples, when Master Hsuan-Hua was alive, he designated his higher level disciples to be in charge of the translation committee. And now they don't do it anymore. That's why the translation gets worse, and they don't realize it. Okay? Back then, it was viewed by the higher level, the people who have the best level of enlightenment possible in English, and now they don't do that, and now actually they're unimpressive from my perspective, and that's why maybe that's why I feel that for advanced levels, you need to go back to Chinese. You don't want to depend on the translation at all. Okay? I personally will try to correct some of those translations. This is by haphazardly, by chance, that we don't have time to translate like Master Hsuan-Hua's disciples could. There are a lot more of them, and they've been around for more decades than we have. So we can simply correct the erroneous translations when it pertains to the Dharmas from the Chinese text. They mistakenly think that they can cross-reference it with Sanskrit and so forth. That only helps to a certain extent. At the higher level, the Dharma, like especially for the text in the Avatamsaka Sutra and so forth, the level of the translator is very important, because with how low levels, they have no way of understanding what the Dharma is about. Okay? So, for you who are planning to practice long-term, I strongly urge you to learn Chinese. Okay? I used to look up Chinese characters, one character at a time. I didn't realize Chinese, you always learn two characters, pairs of characters. One character doesn't mean much. All right. So in general, I was hoping that maybe we could do something new, maybe have a more formalized procedure where you can ask me about which concepts, which Buddhist concepts and terms have you read that you learned in the past that you're not sure about, or the explanation of some of the Buddhist concepts you heard from the various masters you're not sure about, including Master Hsuan-Hua. You feel free to bring them up, okay? We can learn together. And if we first listen to, or we please quote them properly, and have the proper reference. You heard this, you read this from this particular master. This is the text, okay? And then we can discuss it. I can help clarify it for you. How is that? Okay? And that's very important, part of the Chan practice as well. Although the Chan school is known to be 不立文字, we'll have to go for it. It's so dark over there. I think they're trying to save electricity. What happened? No one turns on the lights? Oh, they like to stay in the dark. Okay, thank you. 不立文字, meaning that the Chan school does not establish really languages or jargons. They use minimal jargons over the years, but they don't need a lot of special jargons that you need in order to practice chant. However, the chant terms, for example, 见性成佛, see your nature and accomplish Buddhahood, not become Buddha, accomplish Buddhahood. Okay, is a difference between accomplishing Buddhahood versus becoming a Buddha, like the many of the ordinary people would translate, especially the Zen people and a lot of these people, the scholars would translate improperly as becoming Buddha. No, accomplish Buddhahood. Okay, there's a huge difference between becoming versus accomplishing. All right. Anyway, so that's those are the special expressions that are good for you to hear and to know about, but they're not necessary for your Chan practice. That's why it still falls within the realms of 不立文字, that not establishing any words. Okay? You don't need words. You don't need a lot of instructions in order to have accomplishments. The Chan school, as evidenced by the Chan Chis and so forth, Chan training, is that you can basically grind it out, especially if you have no real teachers. Your teachers cannot really provide you guidance, like in my case, okay? You can grind it out. And you can, furthermore, if you're lucky, like I myself, I was able to get some help here and there from the various bodhisattvas. And then it's doable. You can practice by yourself. However, it's much faster if you're able to have someone like a good knowing advisor, we call a good knowing advisor, who can point out where you are stuck and how to get around your obstructions, your issues, how to resolve your issues. And that's called sudden teaching. Okay? So I had to grind it out, okay, because I had no real guidance, no real teachers. The advantage of grinding it out is that you have more breadth. Okay, if I know exactly what to do, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so forth, there's no such a thing, by the way, then you can get there quicker. However, your path is very narrow. You cannot really help a lot of people. But when you have to grind it out, you have to go zigzag quite a bit, which I had to do. I experimented this, didn't work, I tried the next thing, and so forth, until I discovered eventually what the instructions meant. Okay, because no one was helping me. I had the luxury and the blessings to be able to do that. So the advantage of grinding it out is that you can, over time, eventually, you'll be able to do it. So that's a Chan training process. However, in a Dharma ending era, you don't have a whole lot of time. Especially when you are older, you can no longer afford to grind it out as much as when you were younger. That's when we resort to the sudden teaching. All right? Yes, DTT.
Pastor, I have a question about reverse flag. 현보스님 일단 어떤 백그라운드 인포메이션 뭐냐면 제가 2023년도 12월 5일 날 저희 외가 쪽에 저희 친정엄마 쪽에 증조모의 김씨성을 가진 증조모의 리버스 플락을 달았어요. 네.
Master, I have a question about the reverse plaque. Around 2023 December, I did a rebirth plaque for my mother's grandmother. The last name was Kim.
이제 그분이 이제 자살을 하신 분이었고 그분의 풀네임, 그러니까 한국 이름 풀네임을 알 수 있을 만한 분들은 다 돌아가시고 저희 친정엄마는 김씨성을 가진 할머니였다라는 정보밖에 없어서 김씨성을 가진 할머니의 왕생 위패를 달았었고요. 물론 돌아가신 지는 굉장히 오래됐어요. 네.
So that person suicided, and no one in our family know the full name of that person. The person that would have known the name were all died, and we knew that her last name was Kim. So I did a rebirth plaque saying the grandma who had a last name as Kim, and of course this person passed away a long time ago.
네, 제가 이제 질문하게 된 계기는 뭐냐면, 제가 이번 주 사륜식이 끝나고 화요일, 수요일, 목요일 3일에 걸쳐서, 그러니까 화요일 날 10시간, 수요일 날 12시간, 목요일 날 14시간 플로터스를 했는데, 두 번째 날 결과부자를 길게 하고 나서 새벽에 아침에 꿈에, 네.
I'm asking this question because this week after the relic exhibition, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for 3 days, I've been sitting for a long time. For example, Tuesday for 10 hours and Wednesday for 12 hours, like that. And the second day after for sitting for a long time, in the early morning, I had a dream.
You mean during the relics exhibit, you sat for that long?
아니요, 사리전시회 끝나고 나서 이번 주 화수목입니다.
No, it is after the relics exhibition this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
네,
Continue.
제가 그 두 번째 12시간을 안고 나서 새벽에 잠깐 법당에서 잠깐 졸았는데 그때 어떤 꿈이었냐면 베너러블 XL 신라이가 어떤 한국의 할머니를 저한테 이렇게 안내를 해주는 꿈이었어요. 네. 네네, 맞아요. 그러니까 제가 서 있는데 베너러블 XL이 한국의 할머니를 저한테 와서 이렇게 소개를 인트로듀스 이렇게 그런 분위기였어요. 제 아침 꿈에. 네.
So after the second day, after sitting for 12 hours, in the early morning, I was dozing off in the Buddha hall. And in my dream, I was standing up, and suddenly Venerable Shinlai came to me and introduced me to some Korean old lady.
그러니까 이제 신라이가 그 한국의 올드레이랑 어떻게 커뮤니케이션했는지 모르겠지만 이제 그 신라이의 그 에스코트를 받아서 올드레이디가 저한테 와서 했던 말이 내 이름은 어떻게 갑자기 자기 이름을 밝혔는데 생각이 안 나요. 그러니까 김뭐뭐예요. 어떡하지? 생각이 안 나요, 갑자기. 그러니까 신라이의 에스코트를 받아서 한국의 올드레이디가 저한테 자기 이름 3글자를 밝혔는데 김뭐뭔데 두 번째, 그러니까 세컨 네임 생각이 안 나요, 지금. 네, 갑자기. 네.
So I don't know how they talk to each other, but Venerable Shenlai escorted this Korean old lady, and she came to me and she introduced herself as Kim something something. I suddenly don't remember the first name.
그래서 제가 질문하는 거는 그때 그 2023년 12월 달에 달았던 그 김씨 할머니랑 동일 인물인지 아니면 새로운 저의 조상인 건지 저랑 연관이 있는 건지 이 꿈을 어떻게 해서 그러니까 플락을 달아야 되는지가 제 질문이거든요.
My question is this the same person as 2023 December, the person I did a plaque for? Or is this a new ancestor? Or is this a related person of mine? Do I need to do a new rebirth plaque for her?
참고로 그 예전에 2024년에 담았던 그분의 플락의 잔금을 약간 좀 덜 낸 금액을 찾아봤더니 오늘자 환율로 $1,200 정도가 덜 낸 상태예요. 네, 참고해 주시면 될 것 같습니다.
And for your information, I haven't fully paid for that 2023 reverse plaque, and I checked. So in today's currency, I need to pay $1,200 more for that person's plaque.
그다음에 지금 갑자기 그 올드레이디 이름이 생각이 났어요. 자기 이름이 김을남이라고 했어요, 저한테. 그러니까 신라이 에스코트를 받아서 저한테 와서 그 올드레이디가 코리안 올드레이디가 했던 말이 내 이름은 김을남이다라고 하면서 제가 그 부다올에서 꿈에서 깼어요. 네, 이상입니다.
Oh, I suddenly remember that lady's name. So Venerable Shenlai escorted her, and she came to me and said, "My name is Kim Eul-nam." Yeah, that's it.
Why don't you ask Master Xianlai? He's right there in front of you, ahead of you. Just right in front of you. Have you asked him? He's the one who brought her to you.
마스터, 일단 신라이가 너무 바빴고 이 질문을 이렇게 제가 공개적으로 하는 이유 중에 하나는 사실은 통역 문제가 있기 때문에 제가 질문을 드려서 신라이는 지금 알게 된 상황입니다.
Actually, Venerable Shenlai was very busy, and I'm asking this question in the public because of the translation thing. So now he knows.
Okay, so you want to ask him?
제가 법문을 통해서 들었기 때문에 그냥 마스터든 누구든 대답을 해주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Yeah, ask him in Korean. It seems like he knows that old lady. So how does she look? Her name, that Kim, Mrs. Kim there, Miss Kim there. Was she, was she suffering? Was she happy or what? Do you remember?
마스터, 일단 그녀의 행색이 나쁘진 않았고요. 그냥 약간 외출복 같은 그런 트렌치코트 같은 거를 입고 있었고요. 행색이 좀 이렇게 남루하다거나 그렇게 멀끔한 복장이었어요. 그러니까 흔한 한국도 애매한 표현이긴 한데 그냥 중산층의 그냥 핸드백과 트렌치코트를 입은 그냥 외출 나온 올드레이디의 모습이었었습니다. 네. 안색이나 그런 게 나쁘진 않았어요. 네.
She was not that bad. She looked like she was like dressed up for going out, and she wore like a trench coat, like looking like upper middle class kind of thing. So she had a handbag and a trench coat.
그래서 제가 마스터한테 질문 드렸던 게 뭔가 도움을 요청하는 상황인 건지 아니면 그냥 잠깐 들려서 인사를 하고 하는 건지 제가 좀 상황이 애매하고 그래서 질문 드리게 됐습니다.
What I want to understand is that is this lady asking for help, or is she just dropping by and saying hello?
I don't know. Did she said nothing to you? You didn't talk at all? You both Koreans. Why can't you talk to her? Why didn't you talk to her?
그리고 제가 잠이 깼습니다.
And then I woke up.
Oh, you woke up as soon as she said hello.
맞습니다. 와서 이제 내 이름은 김을남이다라고 인사를 했고 제가 갑자기 깨어났어요. 그냥 인사를 받고 그냥 제가 바로 잠에서 깼어요. 맞습니다, 마스터.
That's correct. As soon as she say, "My name is Kim Eul-nam," and I woke up.
So does the name ring a bell? Do you recognize the name?
아니요. 저는 아니고 마스터 한 가지 더 제가 이 질문을 하게 됐던 또 다른 계기는 뭐냐면 마스터께서 지난 1월 13일인가 선칠에서 저한테 관세음보살 연부를 하라고 하셨는데 제가 이제 관세음보살 연부를 하려고 되게 노력을 많이 하는데 관세음보살 연부로 시작하지만 정신 차리고 보면 아미타불을 하고 있었던 적이 몇 번 있어서 제가 또 질문을 드렸습니다.
One more reason that I'm asking this question is that around January 13th during Chanchi, you told me to do reciting Guanyin Bodhisattva's name, and I really do try, but I find myself reciting Guanyin Pusa, and then when I realize I'm doing Amitofo.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Since Xian Lai brought her to you, you better ask him. I don't know her. I haven't met her. You think I have spiritual penetrations to answer you this question or what? I don't know. Okay? All right. Good luck to you. Easy answer. All right. Any other questions? We can yes. Go ahead, 7.
Thank you, Master. I would like to respectfully request instructions for a particular Dharma getaway. I am reading the Shurangama Sutra, so it talks about the practice of hearing and contemplating of one yin. So I would like if you could teach me or teach us or give us some instructions to how to practice this Dharma door.
Okay. Very good. This is Dharma door of return the hearing to hear your nature. Phản Wen Wen Zhi Xing. That's the Dharma door. Apparently, I heard secondhand from his Master Hsuan disciples. That's one of the Dharma doors that Master Hsuan expressly came to our world to transmit. But I don't know who amongst them practiced that Dharma to the end. Okay, and so because the guy who told me about it BS too much. He made a lot of claims about Chan and that he is not true. And that's very wrong. You cannot do that as a monk. It's a big no-no. Okay, in Chan, in teaching the Dharma, you don't know. You say you don't know. You don't pretend because you make up things. You're gonna go to the hells. Okay, among other things. And so this particular Dharma door here, return the hearing to hear your self-nature. Phản Wen is return the hearing. Wen Zhi Xing, to listen to your own or your self-nature. That's the One Yin Dharma door. A few One Yin Dharma doors that Master Hsuan taught. And so it's a funny thing. This guy claims that Master Hsuan taught him, but I don't think Master Hsuan would teach him because he's full of it. He's BSing. If you teach the Dharma door, if he really knows a Dharma door and someone requests you to be requested to be taught, you cannot fake it and use a Taoist Dharma door like he did to teach me and make me believe that it's the One Yin Dharma door. Later, it's only after I practiced all the Dharma doors that I encountered the Dharma door again, and I realized I understood what it meant because I did the Phản Wen Wen Zhi Xing. I did practice the Dharma door because for the simple reason that Master Hsuan felt it was important because in the Shurangama Sutra, it says that among the 25 sages that the Buddha asked to teach us, to share the experience, and at the end of that section, the Buddha helped us arrive at the conclusion that the most suitable Chan Dharma door for us in a Saha world here is that Phản Quẩn Quẩn Chư Sinh, to return the hearing, to listen to your self-nature. And that's why I realized, because from that Shrangama Sutra, I realized that that was a very important Dharma door. And since I like Chan, I never practiced it before, so I spent some time practicing it, okay? And I did everything until the last step, okay? And so anyway, I intend to guide you and teach you that Dharma door. But I started teaching already since at Lu Mountain Temple. I taught people how to practice the Dharma door. The first thing is that when you recite things, let's say you recite a mantra or recite Wan Yin's name, you recite the Buddha's name, what you need to do, you simply focus on listening to your own sound. Okay? This is very important because what happened to you, to us, is that your hearing has a tendency to go outside and look for sounds, look for the pleasant music. You pay attention to noises, and when people gossip, you say, "Oh, it will catch your attention." So ordinary people, the way we function is that we go outside ourselves and to seek the sound. So whatever sound we hear is from the outside. And so when we hear sound, we go to the outside and look at the sound, look at the source of the sound. And that's how we function through our hearing organ, our hearing consciousness. And with this particular Dharma door that the Buddha taught, that the sages shared in the Shrangama Sutra, we taught to, as we hear the sound, okay, we should look at our self-nature. And so the way you practice it is that the best time to practice it is when I'm not going to teach you what do you do when someone makes a sound, like your neighbor makes a sound. What do you do with that? Don't worry about that, okay? The practice for you starting out is you create your own sound. You recite something, okay? Let's say the Buddha's name, okay? Or Wan Yin Bodhisattva's name. Even a mantra, anything, okay? But let's keep it simple. Let's say you recite Wan Yin's name, which I did, okay? Or you recite the Buddha's name, Amitabha Buddha. You recite Great Strength Bodhisattva's name, same thing, okay? When you recite, okay, typically you recite, you make your own sound, but you also are paying attention to all the sounds around you. Whereas in this particular Dharma door, when you recite, okay, you only focus on the sound of your own sound. Whatever sounds around you that your ear organ registers, you ignore them. You don't pay attention. Okay? That's the fundamentals of the process. You have to do that. Okay? So the first thing you do is you recite something. Wan Yin Bodhisattva, let's say, Wan Yin Pusa, Wan Yin Pusa, Wan Yin Pusa, however you recite, or Amitofo, or Namo Amitofo. Okay, whatever you want to recite, and keep it simple. Let's say Amitofo, okay? Then you listen to it. You listen to your own sound only. Even when you recite silently, you listen to your sound in your head. Okay, the sound, when you listen closely, you hear the sound in your head. in your ears, internal sound produced by your mind. Okay? Or if, like during the Fochi, we recite the Buddha's name loudly, then you're producing your own sound. There's a section where we recite silently, you still listen. You follow that sound in that you recite in your mouth, but then when you stop, actually the sound, you pay attention, the sound is still in your mind. Okay? So that's what you do. Fundamentally, you only listen to the sound you produce. Ignore all the other sounds around. This is the first time I give the explanation this clearly. The second part, ignoring all the other sounds, is very, very important. So you learn to ignore it. As you say, as you recite, Amitofo, Amitofo, and then let's say there's a gun going off next to you, okay, boom! You ignore it. You don't react to it. You don't say, okay? You want to put a gun to you and say, you feel lucky today, punk? Jesse, you watch too many movies, okay? Even with that, what do? You say nothing. You ignore it completely. So when he pulls the trigger and the gun goes off, what happens? You're dead. You die. But what a glorious death. Okay? Wan Yin is not going to bother saving you. Trust me. She's too busy. So that's the point, is that no matter what happens, when you recite, you ignore everything around you. Even when someone puts a gun to your head and pulls the trigger, you don't care. That's the kind of dedication you need. Is that clear? Okay, that's all you do. When you do that, then you go through phases. And after you do that, there's the next phase, and after the next phase, another phase, another phase, another phase that naturally evolves. Okay, and eventually you get to the final stage where you become enlightened. Okay, so I went through all the phases except for the final one, because I decided I don't deserve to become enlightened. Yes, in the back.
Master, when we recite like that and our mind produce false thought together with the sound of recitation, do we pay attention to just the recitation itself?
You do one thing. You only listen to your sound, the sound of your recitation, and nothing else. Ignore everything else. All right? Anything else? You do that, wonderful things happen. Okay? But it requires a lot of dedication. So that's why eventually, when we are fully staffed and then we're operational, we will have areas, an area where I allow people to go into seclusion and they can practice these types of Dharma doors, whether it's Hua-To, even though I really don't care for Hua-To, but many of you really are enamored with Hua-To, you can practice Hua-To, which really requires total dedication, even more so than a Wan Yin Dharma door. Okay, the Phản Vấn Vấn Chư Sinh is colloquially called the Wan Yin Dharma door. We call it Wan Yin Dharma door. Keep it simple. And so these particular Dharma doors are very, very demanding. And if you have a place where you can single-mindedly focus on that, we'll give you a place, you can practice on your own. We give you food, we give you protection, give you water, and we give you, plenty of support for you to solely practice this and become enlightened and develop your spiritual penetrations. Okay, and after that, you can save us. Okay? Because you owe us. All right? So that's finally, that's the phases that we'll hope that's going to happen, whether it's here in the U.S. or whether it's somewhere else, because the way our style of Dharma propagation is first, we are in the cities to reach as many people as possible and recruit and train people, and eventually when we fully staffed and we have enough manpower, then we can help develop people differently and allow them to develop spiritual penetrations. Until then, I personally don't feel that having spiritual penetration is a good thing for you at all. Okay? And I cite the fact that in the Chinese Chan school, many Chan masters said that even if you have spiritual penetrations, even when they have spiritual penetrations, they don't use them at all. Okay? Because imagine that somehow the rumor spreads around, say, Master can see who a Korean lady is that appear in your dream. Then my phone and my iPhone will be bombarded with texts from you and from total strangers who would ask me to help identify people you dreamed of. I have no time to do anything else. That's nonsense to me, okay? All right, so spiritual penetration is for a purpose, and that is you need to reach a certain level before I feel that you no longer can be hindered by spiritual penetrations. I'm talking about much higher levels than Master YongHua disciples. Much, much higher. Okay? So if you're below those levels, I don't advise you to use your spiritual penetrations at all, because they get in your way of your spiritual growth. Okay? Like Master YongHua put it, some of his disciples very early on, they opened their heavenly eye and they keep on using it day and night, watching people and so forth. Watching others, like watching a TV all day. How the heck can you practice if that's what you do? Okay? And then the externalists, for example, they advertise and they seek spiritual penetrations, and that's why they get stuck. Bottom line, spiritual penetrations make it very easy for you to get stuck. And our purpose of teaching you Chan is to help you develop your wisdom first, so that when you have spiritual penetrations, they cannot make you stuck. Whereas Master YongHua, unfortunately, did not emphasize it. I feel that's one of the things that I feel that is not a good thing, is he never really discouraged his disciples to have spiritual penetrations. As a result, some of them had spiritual penetrations, little spiritual penetrations, and they get stuck. Yes, Jin, go ahead.
Hello, hello, Master. Could you explain that if listening with your navel is part of the Dharma door you just described?
No, that's different. That's two different Dharma doors. Contemplating your navel is an entirely different Dharma door. Listening to your hearing is actually, you don't do anything, but only use your hearing. Whereas when you contemplate your navel, actually you are doing an entirely different Dharma door that goes through a different process. Okay?
I think, Master, maybe you explained this. I thought we should be trying to listen with our navel. Maybe that was mentioned in some context.
How can your navel listen to anything?
Just like we would recite from the navel.
No, that's too convoluted.
Okay.
Your navel is not designed to listen. Maybe it's designed to use a samurai knife to be cut. But I don't think it's designed to listen to anything at all. Okay, navel cannot listen. This is why I find that the Chinese explanation, like a YongHua, when you do Chan, you close your eyes and you what is it? Your eyes contemplate the nose, then the nose contemplate the mouth contemplate whatever, your heart and your navel, whatever. To me, it's total nonsense. I tried that. My mind contemplate, my eyes. I said, fine, no problem. Then my eyes contemplate my nose. Yeah, I can do that. When the part says the nose contemplate the mouth, I said, I scratched my nose, says, can you contemplate my mouth, please? And my nose says, you speaking nonsense, man. So I said, if I cannot believe it myself, how can I possibly explain to you? Okay, and it's funny, all the Chinese Chan students never asked. Okay, it really was ridiculous to me that no one dare asked the Chinese masters, Chan masters, how does the nose contemplate the mouth? How does the mouth contemplate your heart, your navel? Okay, the nose is dead. Okay, and some of us have a fake nose. Yeah. Anyway, so there are lots of things that I find in the Chinese Chan teachings. To me, I don't get it. I wouldn't dare call it nonsense because it's taught by the patriarchs, Chinese patriarchs, including Master YongHua. But I would never teach those things. It's just, to me, a Western educated person like myself, totally Western educated, I find it unbelievable. Okay? I find it nonsensical. Okay? I'm sorry, there's two different Dharma doors. When I taught you the navel is just a starting point. When you do the navel, actually something else happens eventually. But when you do the Fan Wen Wen Zhi Xing, is that you solely use your hearing, okay? You focus on your hearing only, all right? And that's when you start with that, using your ear organ, your ear consciousness, then something happens. Wonderful, something wonderful, really wonderful happens. Lots of wonderful things happen.
So, Master, when we practice reciting Buddha's name, which way should we do? Should we contemplate navel, or should we try hearing the sound?
You can do either. I mean, the reason we taught you so many Dharma doors is that for you to try. Okay? I would try for a while and see what happens. Okay? I don't want you to be misled into thinking. It happened to me at Master YongHua's temples. Is that this guy here, this monk here, would teach us a Dharma door, and then once we get going, then he switches Dharma doors on us and teaches us something else, and then something else. And I find it funny and then I stop following instructions because I realize that if you keep on switching Dharma doors too often, you cannot get very far. Very much like when you do Fan Wen Wen Zhi Xing, this Guan Yin Dharma door here. you have to recite it. You have to practice it for a while before you get into before you can get going. Same thing with the Hua Tou. Hua Tou requires total dedication for you. You need to do the Hua Tou, practice Hua Tou properly. Okay? Again, I stress, not like Master Hsuan instructions, not like those losers over there. Okay? They don't understand Hua Tou. I have yet to see one who understands Hua Tou over there. And you need total dedication. It's a lot more demanding. So that's why and even so, these Dharma doors to me are too slow, personally. I'm more of the certain teaching Dharma doors where you don't need as an intensive, extended period, long periods of time where you practice intensively. Okay, but that's requirement for Hua Tou, requirement for Fan Wen Wen Zhi Xing. Okay, and many of those Dharma doors, you requires grinding it out. And to me, that's too slow. It's really inappropriate for city dwellers like us. We just don't have that kind of dedication. Okay, we cannot afford to devote a lot of time solely for the chant practice. We can only practice in chunks. Okay, yeah. So the practice is different. But again, when the time comes, I will allow some of you to the chosen ones to practice these things, so that you understand these Dharma doors better. All right, DTT, and the final question here.
네, 마스터, 제가 그 부처님 명호를 연불하는 법에 대해서 좀 혼란스러워서 질문을 드리게 됐고요. 네.
Master, I'm asking because I got confused now how to recite Buddha's name.
지금까지 마스터께서 법문을 통해서 부처님 명호를 연불하는 법에 대해서 작년에 한국에 방문하셔서 타너 뮤지엄에서 하셨을 때는 감사하는 마음을 가지고 연불을 하면 연불삼매에 들 거라고 설명하셨었고요. 네.
Until now, in Master's Dharma talk, you teached us, for example, last year in Tanha Museum, you teached us when we recite Buddha's name, you should do in a grateful mind.
그리고 이제 마스터께서 다시 미국에 돌아가신 다음에 그러니까 서양인들을 위한 찬 법문에서 샘슨 라우가 똑같이 이 연불하는 법에 대해서 질문했을 때 마스터께서 단전에 집중하라고 하셨었어요. 두 번째 제가 기억하기로는.
After you went back to US in the America time chant talk, you teach Samson Lau that when you recite Buddha's name, focus on your navel.
그리고 지금 오늘은 또 똑같은 연불에 부처님 명호를 하는 거에 대해서 반문 문자성에서 대해서 설명을 하셨어요. 물론 질문자는 다 달랐죠. 네.
And today you teach us to listen to our own self-nature when we recite Buddha's name. Of course, all the questioners, the person who questioned are all different people.
그래서 제가 질문하는 거는 마스터께서 지난 겨울 선칠 1월 13일자에 저한테 관세모살 연보를 하라고 하셨는데 저는 그럼 이 세 가지 중에서 어떤 걸 해야 되는지가 제 질문입니다. 이상입니다.
So
Sounds like she's complaining, doesn't it?
my question is, during last Chanchi, January 13th, you told me to recite Guanyin Pusa's name. So I'm asking which of the three methods I should pick.
You only remember three? I thought I taught a lot more ways than that. Anyway, first of all, I'm glad you asked the question, and thank you for asking the questions, because if you have doubts, you are unclear about something, feel free to ask, because you find out through my answers that it's not just you. A lot of people are confused about it. Okay. The fact of the matter, as you pointed out, I taught differently depending on the occasion, depending on the people, depending on my mood, depending on what kind of food I'm fed for lunch. So a lot of factors that influence my teaching. Okay, I'm wishy-washy. Sometimes I teach because I'm trying to please people. Okay, some other times I'm trying to impress people. So you never can tell. Okay, I'm very moody. I'm bipolar. Did I tell you that? Do you remember that? I'm very proud to tell everyone that I'm very bipolar. Just wait until my real manic side comes out. You will not like it. Okay. Anyway, I'm digressing as usual. You hear these things. It should help you keep an open mind. Cultivation is multifaceted. And my style of teaching is that I want you to be open-minded. Just because you have some skills, which you do, by the way, okay, I'm proud of you. People look down upon you and feel that you are a nuisance. Is that true? But you have some wisdom, regardless. And it shows in the way she structures her questions, doesn't it? 5 years ago, several years ago, when you first came to us, your questions are so, how shall we put it, all over the map. Now you have a logic that's very zoomy. I call it zoomy logic. All right? You have a very distinctive logic. That's kind of logical. Very good. So it shows you have wisdom. All right? Your wisdom open up. Whether you believe it or not, I don't care. So the point here is that my style of teaching is that I want you to keep an open mind. Don't think that you know everything about Chan. In particular, I happen not to believe in the Asian style of saying you need to pick a Dharma door. To me, it's hogwash, okay? Meaning that all the Dharma doors are equally important, okay? And so the Asian style teaching is you must choose a Dharma door as a Hua-to, whether it's contemplate or navel, whether it's contemplate this for doing that, and so forth. And that's the only way for you to become enlightened. To me, it's hogwash. Okay, you know hogwash is? You understand baloney? Okay, same thing. It's baloney. Okay, that's too Chinese. It's too Asian. To me, okay, I teach you various things, and because I want you to keep an open mind, and that if you follow the teaching, you practice with us, you receive a lot of certain instructions, certain teaching instructions, which will be all over the map. This is not refined to any particular Dharma door, okay? And therefore, you are a lot more flexible, it's a lot faster. It's not one-dimensional Chan style of practice, okay? That's why we're very different. Our style of Chan practice is very different from the Koreans, from the Chinese. It's in particular very different from Master Hsuan-Hua's style of teaching. Okay, believe it or not, because we have a lot more. We focus a lot more on the sudden teaching, because for the reason I mentioned before, you don't have a lot of time. You only have chunks of time. We need to help you maximize it. Okay, you need to guide you to maximize your chunk of time. In particular, for our monks and nuns, they are very busy. We're so busy, the more people we have, the more projects we're doing. It's not like we can take it more easy, not at all. The more sanghas we have, the more projects we can do. We have all these projects that are in a back burner and doing in a half-assed way. And with more people, our sanghas is very, very busy. So I can't afford to teach them certain teaching. They cannot do total dedication like in isolation or in seclusion. All right? So to me, the simple answer to your question is that whatever you feel like practicing, you wear these Dharma doors. It's one day you said, I should be more grateful. I don't understand gratitude, which you don't, by the way. Okay. Then my master taught me that when I recite the Buddha's name, I should be grateful. Let me recite it and try to understand gratitude, this Dharma door of reciting gratitude. Okay? And then maybe it'll get you somewhere, maybe it won't. But then you have many choices you can try. And don't worry. Your question, no more question. Your question is predicated upon the fact that in an Asian style, you taught to focus on one Dharma door to death. We don't do that here at our temple. Let me repeat for you. We don't do that. It's too slow. Frankly, it's way too slow for me. All right? So if you feel like concentrating one Dharma door, by all means do that. Okay? But I assure you, if you try different Dharma doors, it will not hinder your progress at all. Whether you do one Dharma door or multiple Dharma doors, I'm for variety, personally. Okay? But if you want to do one Dharma door, it's fine too. Okay? There's always certain teaching for single Dharma doors. Okay? Focused Dharma doors as well. Okay? All right, so take your pick and try. If you don't want to try, no problem, don't try. We're very wishy-washy. That's why we call it American Chan, because we call it wishy-washy Chan. All right, thank you everyone. See you next time.